This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
Year 6, Day 311. One interesting thing about being here has been learning about Simitu from the staff. Sometimes we have a lot of idle time, which I spend asking the techs questions. I've always had my opinions about this place because of my past, but it's much different when you're in it. There are apparently some pretty screwed up politics going around, mostly surrounding the war. I never thought this would be a thing, but apparently, there are a lot of people who don't want it to end. And it's for the most disgusting reason imaginable. People have gotten really, really rich off of it. This place had problems before, but now it really has problems. Anyone in this city who has the misfortune of being poor is extremely poor. And the Jardejo Order has seized on that opportunity to turn people against the king. Ever since House Starbringer broke with the Order, it's gotten a lot worse, and the king has been keeping his family in a secret location outside of his city for safety. Here we are supposed to be worried about the row, but this dynamic seems a lot worse. I mean, we've been fighting the row for so long that it's hardly news anymore. Some people have started to question whether they even exist. I don't understand how people can just deny things that are so obvious. Even Jardejo is something completely different here. In Idrica, Jardejo is a way of life, but here in Simitu, it's something that instills this weird, intrinsic fear in people. They're more worried about themselves than anything. But it's not everybody. There are other people who don't want to look Jardejo in the eye at all. Like they somehow know better than everyone who has come before, and just write off things that I've grown up with as truths as some kind of childish folklore. I get that some of it is really weird, but it's our past and hopefully our future, and Jardejo is also a people. No one can deny that we exist. I wonder if the Rao have Jardejo. I've read that they aren't very different from us. That they used to have a homeworld, like Arcus, but left it behind. I mean, all people talk about in Idrica is this grand design. Who are we to assume that they aren't part of some grand design too? That these star makers who made everything would somehow leave them out? I find them more interesting than anything. But that seems like an unpopular approach, even with True. He has all but said that he would have no remorse if they were all to die. Granted, some of that is based on some degree of foresight into what they could do to us, but the conversation seems to be off limits. To him, they're a task. On that topic, we've had some interesting conversations lately. I figured out that you can't really get him to talk about himself, but he will talk a lot about his work. A lot. If I had to guess, most people are too afraid to show any kind of interest in what he actually thinks about stuff, but he's got a lot to say, and it's the easiest way to talk to him. Mostly forward-looking stuff, and that's where we find a lot of common ground. He doesn't focus on things that are small or immediate. His mind is always a few steps, generations even, ahead. It's almost like he absolutely doesn't care what happens right now. How he feels, how we feel, if we live, if we die, none of it. It's all means to some far future end, which is why I guess he is the way he is. What I can't understand is why then bother with any of this? Is the Azuria that important that he'd willingly risk so much? I guess if Lapidine has put enough faith in him to help him build this stuff, I can too.
If you're a fan of immersive audio fiction, you won't want to miss out on these shows from Packhowl Media. The Madness of Chartrulean.
Will this world accept my vision of the future? Or is all of this a mistake?
The Nebulous Saga.
You killed my family.
They killed mine.
And for 10 years, I've been making the Alliance pay.
Tales for Howling at the Full Moon.
It is not my worth that brings me here. It is my calling.
Another day, another chosen one.
To learn more about our shows and find out how to support independent creators, visit packhowlmedia.com.